What's up, everyone? We are live again, hopefully with SDGC for March 25th,
Yay.
2021. We almost made it through March here, folks. I swear we're so
and
close.
You know what? If we had gone live just a couple minutes early, we'd have a happy Anna. But instead, we have a I'm tired Anna. And that's okay. That's okay.
How old is Anna now, Finn?
On Monday, she'll be 3 weeks old.
Wow. I know nothing about babies, but that seems
and she's wearing Kogasu's pajamas. It's okay. She's so tired, but she wanted to stay up and say hi to everybody first.
What does she think of the ludonarrative dissonance in the Uncharted series?
She actually is very pro Nathan because her future brother will be called Nolan.
I respect it.
So Uncharted is her jam.
Aw, well, she's very adorable.
Hi. Eat her nose. Anyway, keep starting. I'm gonna put her to bed. I just have her little cameo. Okay. So we'll be right back.
Sounds good. For our audio listeners, Finn had his.
Yeah, that was just a lot of sound.
Yeah. if you heard a baby, it's not John crying about Final Fantasy VI not being on Switch. It's Finn's 3-week-old daughter. So she's very cute, and it's going to keep him on and off the podcast sporadically in the near future, I'm sure. So right now it's just me and Justin while we wait for Britt to get on.
Great. Good thing we have so many topics to cover this evening.
What's up, buddy? I saw that your Godzilla screening got canceled. I'm very sorry to hear that.
Let me tell the story about that. So, because I have found out some more information about that, and it's funny. So, as some of you may know, I'm a big fan of Godzilla, and I had been invited to an early stream of Godzilla vs. Kong. So I was supposed to be watching that tonight. I actually wasn't planning on being on the show. Although I was thinking of maybe crashing when it was done because it was supposed to get done around 9:30.
In terms of priorities, Godzilla, then SDGC, like where? Is there something in between the two?
Yeah, no, that's pretty close.
That's fair.
Zeke's in there somewhere, but he's sleeping right now.
My wife tells me cats are always number one. I know that I'm always behind that cat on the totem pole.
Yeah,
so
that's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was supposed to be watching that tonight, and I was excited because it's like early screening, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to go to a movie theater quite yet. I've only had the first dose of the vaccine and everything, so I'm like, But it was a stream, which was great. I was just gonna get to watch it early. I'd have to watch it on my computer, but no big deal. And then, I got the reminder. It's like, 48 hours. You're gonna be watching it. I'm like, great. It went through everything fine. And then yesterday, I got 16 emails simultaneously. Just your screening has been deleted. Your screening has been deleted. Your screening has been deleted. All direct from WB. Because apparently somebody that had been in an early screening had recorded all of the action sequences and posted them on YouTube. So every single group that had an early screening got theirs canceled.
No. I mean, I don't really know what they thought was going to happen.
Real talk.
What's up?
I'm so annoyed. The second I walked away with her, she stopped crying. I guess she just really doesn't like Canadians on podcasts. I don't know. It's weird. But she's the best, and I could spend this entire podcast gushing about her. Basically, I have been described, if you've ever watched the show Full Metal Alchemist, they're like, you are literally just Maze Hughes, and I hope that means I don't die an early death, but I'll take it. That's a good comparison, and I'm all for it. So
Finn, can I ask you a question?
You can always ask me a question, my best friend.
Again, I'm sorry to our audio listeners, but are you wearing a robe right now?
Yes, this is my early Father's Day gift from Saki herself, and it is the most comfortable robe ever.
You are already in peak dad mode, man, and I love it. Yep. It's awesome.
Oh, so you weren't on Twitter, so you didn't get to see this amazingness. I've decided, because she's my little princess, but also my little badass warrior, that her nickname is now Anazon. So there's that, Anazon.
Christine and I are not having a kid, but we actually, this is a little bit of news. We're getting a cat. We just had a
That's,
little.
that's just as good.
Yeah, I think so. It's a new member of the family. We're not ready to commit to a child and trying to raise that in this world. But yeah, again, this is our future kitty. We're hoping to pick her up next week.
What's the name?
I mean, she has a name given to her by the shelter, but we're probably going to give her a new one. She's apparently it's a generic one that she's not attached to, so we're going back and forth on a couple different names. But yeah, that's
that's what I did with Zeke. He did not care about his shelter name.
Yeah.
How does Zeke feel about no longer being the only podcast cat?
He's snoozing. He's snoozing in front of the air conditioner.
How does he feel about being named after one of the greatest side characters in a game, which is, I assume, Zeke from Infamous? I can only assume.
That wasn't my intention, but that a lot of people have pointed that out. I don't know. It's just a name that, like, because it's like Zeke, you know, like just a quick, like, sharp noise.
It's a great name.
He actually responds to it. Like, I had a bunch of names, and he didn't pay attention to any of the other ones, but he likes this one. So
cats do not give a shit. I know that much. We are going to talk about video games tonight, I promise.
Are we?
We might. Finn, have you had time to play anything the last week or two? I think you missed a show here or there.
You're muted, Finn.
So I obviously have not had too much time in the past couple weeks, but I have been making room for Bravely Default 2. The Switch is great for when it's my shift to just kind of be awake to make sure everything's okay, and I can just sit there with the Switch on low volume with a little like earbud in. So I've been playing some Bravely Default 2, and that's about it.
That's exciting. Justin, what about you?
Yeah.
I finished up the second Doom Eternal DLC, Ancient Gods Part 2. Very, very good. I liked it a lot more than the first one. The first one was kind of just unfair difficulty-wise. Like, the first one, like, some of the, like, don't get me wrong, Ancient Gods 2 is still very hard. Like, both of those DLCs are designed to start at the level of difficulty that the base game ends at. They're not for jumping in on their own. But like it just felt a little bit more like they added a few things like the new hammer, and a couple other, you know, things that work really well in the combat sandbox, and just add a few more tools that you can utilize really effectively. And the final battle is like, I have never played a final boss fight like that one in an FPS before. It's very much like character action game, Devil May Cry style thing, just in an FPS.
I heard there's a lot of strategy and things going on. Like there's like enemies spawning in constantly, like while you're fending them off and fighting the boss, stuff like that.
But they're not that bad, and like also they're kind of important for like you getting like sword charges and like, or not sword charges, like hammer charges, and like the boss, if he hits you and does damage, he heals. But if you hit him and do damage, you heal. So like there's like the momentum of the fight is like constantly shifting.
So it's like
it's
almost like a tug of war, like Conquest and Battlefield or something like that. Like you're just trying to push the balance in your favor. That's really cool. I've never heard of that before.
And he's got like 5 health bars, of course.
Classic. Is this the last? Is this the last DLC? Is there any more?
This is the last DLC, and this is the last that they have openly said that this is the last story of like the current Doom Slayer, but it's not the end of Doom. So I'm curious to see where they go from here, because it does wrap up the story from 2016 and Eternal pretty well, but you know it doesn't totally close everything, so they could do a lot with the series. I'm interested to see where it goes.
On Xbox, right?
Yeah. I talked about this before, but like it's kind of a bummer because I have every single Doom game on my PS4. Like Doom 64, Doom VFR. I'm gonna be getting Doom 3 VR in a few months. It's hilarious that Bethesda's releasing 3 PlayStation exclusives this year after they got bought by Microsoft.
You know, like I'm sure. I mean, a lot of people call these like rehashes or money grabs, but they really aren't. I think it's awesome that the Doom series is so accessible. It's like these games are everywhere in every form. Like the version of Doom 3 that's out there, the BFG edition, is like pretty good on consoles. I don't know. Every single Doom game is out there on whatever platform you want to play it on. And
yeah, no, I was
just
saying
think
this
that's
before.
dope.
Like I've got most of them on my Switch as well.
Yeah.
Like Doom Eternal, you can buy on the Switch. If you really want to play Doom Eternal, I wouldn't recommend that version.
I played the original Doom on Switch, and that was
But,
fine. But
you can,
Yeah.
which is really cool. Like, I mean, that's the only thing about this deal that bums me out. Like, because like I love like. I'm weird with Bethesda stuff. Like I don't care about Bethesda Game Studios games really. They're just not my thing. I've got a lot of friends that deeply love them.
Mm-hmm.
So I respect them, but I cannot get into them. But like I love Arcane, I love Tango, I love Machine Games, and I understand that those studios were not doing it. So like I'm happy that they're going to be able to get a lot of creative freedom. It kind of bums me out because part of, their legacy has been, you can get Doom on any platform ever. Like there's mobile Doom spin-offs. You can play it on fridges nowadays.
Yeah.
I had it on my iPod. I had it on my calculator.
I was going to say, I remember playing games on my TI-83, and I'm pretty sure, other than like Snake and stuff like that, and Tetris, I think Doom was one of them. It's a miracle. I was going to say it's a miracle that I got through high school, and then I remembered kids just have phones now. So
yeah. But then also like I like I'm interested in technology and stuff with behind games, and like id Tech has always been a fascinating like engine to see how it scales across platforms, and that'll be lessened now. So like that's kind of a bummer for me. Like I get it, it's business, whatever. I'm not like crying about it, but like it's a part of id's legacy that is probably going to be gone, and so that's a bit of a bummer for me.
Yeah, it's natural. I guess I'll go next. I'm not going to talk about it too much. I've just been playing. I have a PlayStation 5, the cutting edge of new gen technology, 4K 60 FPS, and I'm playing Minecraft. I'm playing a lot of Minecraft.
Hell yeah!
Which isn't even. I don't remember if I talked about this on the last show. Brittany's just joined us. We will get to Brittany in a minute.
What are we talking about?
Nothing important.
Jeff, the way you phrased that sounded like a teacher, just like, oh, we'll get to the report we got from the substitute in a minute.
Yeah. Brittany is not a substitute. We love Brittany. So no, I've been playing a lot of Minecraft. I will say it's crossplay and multi-platform shit rules. Like I can play it on my computer. I could play it on my TV behind me on my PS5. When I'm in like a 2-hour meeting that I'm kind of just there on the off chance someone asks me a question, but otherwise I'm just sitting there, I can play it at my workstation and just kind of like chill out. A couple of interesting notes about Minecraft, because I know everyone's interested in the like technical performance comparisons. I'm waiting for Digital Foundry to break it down. The Switch version runs like absolute ass, which I'm not surprised, but also I'm surprised. So hopefully the Switch Pro can clean that up. The Xbox version has a really weird input lag that is not on the PlayStation one, and I don't know if something's just wrong. I did the whole hard reboot and stuff like that, but yeah, it's really weird. So I think my personal opinion is Minecraft plays best on the PlayStation family of consoles, specifically the PlayStation 5. It is excellent there.
Wow. What a shocking turn of events.
But yeah, I talked about it last show, so I won't go on about it again. It's a chill game. I took a mental health day earlier this week, and I literally just spent 12 hours playing this stupid fucking game, just like hacking away at little blocks.
That's good. Like I'm glad.
12 hours of gaming. Were you playing with friends too?
Off and on. We have like a shared server, so they pop in for a little bit. I mean, they were working during most of the day, but we've been playing in the evenings, and we just sometimes we do our own thing, sometimes we work together, and we just kind of come up with these little projects. We're like, oh, we're gonna build a new house and take turns farming different materials and stuff like that. But yeah, it's just
cute.
It's a great way. It's like that Animal Crossing vibe, right? It's a great way to zone out. You can just log in the morning, do a couple little routines and stuff like that, and get on with your day. It's nice to have routine when a lot of us are lacking that in our lives. Brittany, welcome to the show.
Hello.
Did you finish the homework for your son?
Oh yeah, I was like, did we have homework before we got on
Did
the
you finish
show?
the SDGC homework?
Did you see like the fear in my face? I was like, wait, were we supposed to do something?
like like that's the thing that like that fear never goes away. Like, how long has it been since you've been in school? Like,
we all carry that trauma with us for the rest of our lives.
I still have dreams about it.
Or
Like,
you wake up and you're like, oh fuck, I'm gonna miss the bus.
I'm gonna be
or I'm
late for
school.
class.
Oh.
or the classic. Oh no, it's the final, and I didn't go to class all semester.
Fun fact. I don't know if this is a fun fact. I'm gonna tell it anyways, because I don't care. It's like pitch black here until 10 in the morning in the winter. That's just how it is because the sun takes forever to come up. So there's no distinction between like when it's like school time. And on multiple occasions, I like just had one of those mornings where I slept in and I just freaked the fuck out and I showered and ran to the bus and went to school on a Saturday at like 7 a.m. and got there, like just completely fucking zoned out and got there and was like, why are the doors locked? What's going on? Why is there no cars? Oh no.
Here's a good one that I had one time. I think I was in like 8th grade or 7th or 8th grade or something, and I had like a really vivid dream about Christmas. And I woke up at like 5 a.m. like so excited because it was Christmas morning. It was like a Wednesday in April. Like I just thought it was Christmas all day, and it was not.
Christmas,
it was very much not.
Christmas is whenever you want it to be.
I don't think it's like a Wednesday in April.
I've never heard that in my life.
I guess not.
Sorry, Britt. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys? I missed the beginning, so I hope you guys are good.
We're good. You missed. Finn had Anna on here for a few minutes. She was getting a little fidgety. And then he came back, and then he disappeared. So I could only.
Bad stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I can only imagine either everything's going really good or really bad. So we'll see when he gets back here. But we're just running
through. If
through.
it was going good, he'd be here.
You would think so. You'd think so. Or he's getting some real good cuddles. I don't know.
Oh.
What have you been playing, Britt?
So I've been playing 2 things.
Oh, more than just WoW.
I have more than just WoW, but it's not much. It's been WoW and Animal Crossing.
I was gonna say we're at like that 1-year anniversary of Animal Crossing. Let's just take a minute and just walk us back through this game the past year.
So that was gonna be my topic tonight. That we were all supposed to bring a topic, so we can just start my topic now. Is I was gonna talk about Animal Crossing and where we are now from a year ago, right? Because when we first started it, like everybody was in the game. Everybody had their fish and their bugs camped outside of Blather's tent. Everybody hated Blathers. Everybody except for you hated the bunny.
I was gonna say we're almost at that time. Are you ready?
No, Jeff, didn't you hate the fox?
Yeah.
Oh, I hate it.
That's legit.
The one that comes to your island to sell the paintings?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I literally, my game was straight up broken.
Every 4 months. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, like Reb had him visit. Like she's like, oh, he visits once a week. I'm like, that's fucking bullshit. I counted.
Yeah, no,
I had a calendar on my wall, and I marked down the days he didn't come. I'm not even fucking joking. I did. My mom made me a calendar for Christmas, and I was like, this is nice. I don't have anything to do with this calendar. I was like, I know. I'm gonna track this motherfucker.
All the days Red dicked.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've been playing Animal Crossing.
This is my Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
Zeke crossing all across the stream.
Like the new Mario, the new animals. I was like looking at Zeke and I was like, no. Okay, so the new Mario stuff has been really fun. I get to wear a Princess Peach dress and gown, and when you put the items on, it plays the Mario theme. How cool is that?
Oh, that's cool.
Awesome. Is that stuff going away?
It did go away. Yep.
No!
It is going away, like alongside the All-Star stuff.
No, I was like, I don't need to do this right now. It's gone. Like, I thought it was just like regular stuff. It's an event.
Nope, it's gone.
It's coming back though, right? Nintendo wouldn't do that to us.
I don't know.
Oh no, Nintendo absolutely wouldn't take Mario stuff away from people.
Hello, we are live one more time. We're just gonna keep going like nothing happened. I don't give a fuck. And if this dies again, we'll just see you all next Thursday.
Oh, we're good. I can see us.
Yeah, we're good for now. I have no faith in computers, PCs, or Windows because I literally spend all day, every day at my day job fixing them. So we'll see how it goes. Brittany, you were talking about Animal Crossing 1 year ago when all these problems started.
Yes. So what I was saying is it's very interesting to go back and play the game and hear all the sayings that I did a year ago. Like my favorite sport is stepping on people's necks. My hobby is being Tifa Lockhart's girlfriend. And there's some names that are just really funny that I forgot that I did, that I just like. So, one of the town sayings I have is booty hole. So
Booty hole?
Somebody was talking to me and
Classy.
they ended this sentence with booty hole, and I'm like, why? These poor animals. What was I doing? Like, where was I at in quarantine?
This game
this
was
point
so
last
pure
year?
and you corrupted it.
I did. I
Oh.
did. So it's just really interesting to go back and, you know, like when I was playing Animal Crossing when it first came out, I thought I was going to be playing it forever. And I did. Like, when I woke up, I played Animal Crossing until I went to bed, right?
Mhm.
And then you get to a point where there's just not really a whole lot left to do anymore. And that sucks. Like,
Mhm.
that's the one thing about, like, you can always change your island and whatever, but, like, once you get it to where you like,
Mhm.
there's just not much else to do, right? And I think that's the problem, is you can add as many new items that you want, but the problem is they're seasonal,
Mhm.
so they don't look good all year round,
Yep.
and so it's not enough to make you like want to redo your whole island.
Yeah, like I went crazy with the Halloween event with like all the pumpkin stuff and jack-o'-lantern and stuff like that. I got really back into the game in October, and then like Halloween was over and it was November 1st, and I'm like, I guess I'll just shove all this shit in storage until like.
Hey,
now.
so it's like you put it all, you know, it's like regular decorations, right? Like, it's fun to collect and put it all out, and then when it comes time to put it away, you're like, I want to do this shit. Like,
Mhm.
you know, so I don't know, like, what could they do? Like, I see a lot of people in chat saying Brewster. Like, what does that add to the game, though? Like, you can get coffee from Brewster, but
What is Brewster? Fill me in.
He's the coffee guy, so, like, he owns a coffee shop,
Okay.
The Roost, right? It's called The Roost. And you just go and you have a cup of coffee, and everybody wants Brewster, and I'm like, that's great, I would love Brewster, but what else is there to do besides just drink coffee? Because I can do that all day, every day in real life.
Mhm.
And I talked about this on Twitter. Like, there's so many things that they could upgrade. Like, I wish you could buy more than one piece of clothing when you go shop for something, or like one outfit. Like, I wish you
Mhm.
could just like put it in your bag.
Like I want to buy 5 shirts, but you can't do that.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to buy the same shirt, all different colors. And I want it on me, because what if I want to give it to villagers, and then you have to go back to your house, dig it out? It's just a pain in the ass, right?
Mhm.
And ordinances, like, I'm a night owl. I would love to climb into bed at like whatever time I decide to go to bed and be able to fucking sell shit, or do something other than just run around aimlessly, because like all of my villagers are asleep, all the stores are asleep.
I know
What am I
exactly
supposed
what
to
you're
do?
talking about. I'm the opposite. Well, I'm like, I don't go to bed super early, but my prime gaming time is before work, and I start work at 7:30. So I'm up actually at like 5:30 or 6 in the morning, and that's when like I get, because like in the evenings, I mean, this is pre-pandemic, but like I'm typically busy in the evenings. I got like hockey, or I'm out running errands and stuff like that, and yeah, like I want to do my dailies, and then I need to sell my shit, and the shop doesn't open till 8, but then by 8 I'm already at work. Like, it's like I
Yep.
can never get in there. Like,
And what, I think it was New Leaf, was that the DS one? They had ordinances.
mhm.
I would fucking love ordinances. Like, let me set the time that I can play.
Well, what
right?
about people that work night shifts and stuff like that, right?
Exactly. It's just, yeah, it's wonky. Like,
Mhm.
they don't want people to time skip, but if you work all these crazy hours, like, what are you supposed to do, right? Like,
Mhm.
and I think even in the older games, they made it to where you'd have like a 24-hour mart. Am I correct? Was that a thing? Am I crazy? I'm waiting
Well,
for Rar. He'll know.
We'll wait for chat to chime in.
But I feel like there used to be a 24-hour store.
Mhm.
But I could be fucking wrong. But yeah, so it's interesting a year later playing the game and still seeing things that I wish that they would have fixed by now.
I think
And
like
yeah, that's
I just think with like Nintendo, I don't know how much like the specific developers of this game, but like it just seems like a very Nintendo thing. Like they make great games, but it's always just like a little bit like, why does this particular aspect of the game design feel like 20 years old? Just like just so many of those little QOL changes would
exactly
would make it so much more enjoyable. You said you've been playing one other thing?
WoW.
Oh wow.
That's it.
Yeah.
WoW and Animal Crossing.
Wow.
I mean, and like I'm like you. I have a PlayStation 5, and I'm like, you know.
Yep. Well, but it's not like I was talking about this earlier. I mean, it's great for everyone that's like playing all these like games that got new updates and patches. Like that stuff's amazing. I love that games are getting updated for PS5, getting improved. I'm just not.
I've been doing that. I've been doing that quite a bit.
Yeah.
Actually. I started up Jedi Fallen Order again, which that game was rough on PS4 Pro. It's still kind of rough, but like a whole lot less rough now with the updates. I checked out Avengers earlier this evening since you can actually replay the campaign. They did a lot of work for the next gen versions of that game. Control. I replayed all of. I booted up God of War to check out like, what it was like at 60
That's what I
FPS,
do when
and
I
then
replay.
I actually ended up replaying the whole thing from beginning to end.
It's such a good game. Yeah.
So I've been replaying a lot of stuff. I'm looking forward to Monster Hunter Rise tomorrow.
What is that coming out on?
Switch.
That's what I thought.
I think. Is there a PC version coming eventually? Did they?
So it was leaked in that Capcom leak. There is
Okay.
no PC version currently announced. We do not know when it is coming, but in that Capcom leak, it sounds like it will eventually be on PC.
That Capcom leak just fucked me up because now my mind has like no distinction between like what's announced and what isn't. I'm just like, I know there's Resident Evil 4 remake, but like, is that announced?
That's the shitty thing about leaks,
Yeah.
right? Like you can never.
Well, especially since a lot of the stuff was also really early in development, and so like some of it might not get made or might change drastically. And
Monster Hunter Rise looks
Yeah.
really cool. I probably will wait for the PC version, but I think it's a great fit for Switch. That's like an awesome kind of game where you do lots of like farming and stuff like that. Like I think that's a great fit for that portable device.
yeah, I was gonna wait on Rise because I wasn't quite in the mood for it, and then like all of a sudden I realized I'm like, wait a minute, I have hours at work every day that I could play some Monster Hunter. Like I absolutely should get this game. So I just went ahead and pre-ordered it. So I'm looking forward to
tried
that.
again to get into Breath of the Wild, and that game is not hooking me. I don't know what it is, but it's like usually when I pick up a Zelda game, it's like instant. But for some reason, I don't know if it's like the open world that turns me off. Like I can't get into it, and I want to so fucking bad. You guys have no like. I love Zelda. I love Zelda games, and I want to play it so bad. But it's like I'll play it for like an hour, maybe 2 hours, and then I'm like, all right, like I'll come back to this tomorrow, and then like I don't touch it for like a month or two, and that's like consistently how I've been playing since last June. Like I'll pick it up and play every few hours, and then like drop it like it's fucking hot and just walk away.
We're skating on real thin ice here with Breath of the Wild.
No,
discourse.
Brittany's
But-
being
No,
Brittany
I'm not
seems to be
shitting on
nailing it.
I'm not saying it's bad. It's
Yeah.
just not hooking me.
It's
No, I mean that was the same experience I had with it. I gave it like 25 hours where I was playing it and it just never clicked. It never got fun for me. And it was just I kept being like, "Oh, is this the thing that'll make it click for me?" And nothing ever did. And then I'm just like, "Look, I feel like I'm banging my head against this wall. I want to like this game. So many
bad.
people love it so much. I love this series, and like for me, like I actually don't understand why, because I did not enjoy any of it.
I guess
And
we're
the thing
going.
that-
Sorry, go ahead, Justin.
The thing that I remember my final straw because it was something that at first started to at first like I was like, okay, this is awesome. I stumbled upon the Master Sword. I found the Master Sword just out of nowhere, and I was like, oh, okay, this is really cool. I can get the Master Sword now. And then it's like, you need to do a certain number of these shrines before you can pull the Master Sword out. That was when I quit. because everybody was bragging that this game lets you do anything that you want in the order that you want, and I'm like, okay, this is cool. I found the one thing I can do out of order, and this would be amazing. And then the game's like, no. And that was the point where I'm like, I'm done.
I guess we're going. I guess our next topic is Breath of the Wild. So I mean,
I'm done. I'm done. It's just.
I was just talking about like Switch games. Like that's like that was another game that I was like attempting to play and get back into, but it's not sinking into me, and I'm so mad about it. It's not like I have an irrational hate towards it or anything. I don't have enough time in it to really have an opinion. I'm just like, I'm so bummed that every time I play it, it's not like.
No, but I'm glad you brought it up, because I've actually, this is why I've been playing so much Minecraft, because I have nothing to play right now. And like, you know, Justin was talking about like dipping back into like all these games that got PS5 updates, but I'm just like, I don't really replay games other than like Naughty Dog games, because I love that shit. But so I'm like waiting for these new games to come out, and apparently I've gotten really picky as I've gotten older, because there is games coming out and just none of them appeal to me, because they're not just like driving a stupid truck around the countryside.
It's like end of April through like June is when things really start to pick up again.
Yeah.
I mean, it has been slow at this beginning of the year.
The only thing, there's two things I'm looking forward to, and that is Mass Effect, which we all know from the last time I was on the show, and Final Fantasy VII. I'm excited to replay that on the PS5.
I am gonna replay that, absolutely.
Yeah, the DLC. Like I platinumed 7 Remake, so I'm looking forward to having an excuse to go back and playing again, just so I can see the graphics when it's just.
Yeah.
I
need
to finish.
To replay it anyway, so.
I need to finish my hard mode run of it, and some of the other stuff for the platinum, but I got most of it. Yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to. But like for me, it gets ridiculous. Like end of April, like return. It's like return. These games are all a week apart. Returnal, Resident Evil 8, Mass Effect Trilogy, Deathloop. There's something else right after Deathloop too. I'm blanking on one. Ratchet and Clank in early June. Like, there's a lot of like. It's like once it stops like being slow, like there's literally a major game release every week for like 6 weeks that I'm looking forward to.
This has been the problem with the games industry like for as long as I can remember. I'm glad they realized they can release games in like January and February and stuff like that, but like they can never just like even like it's never just like, okay, every couple weeks, you know, here's an open spot. It's always like this like nothing, and then all of a sudden everything is coming out. Like, just give me like a nicely paced, steady stream of games all year round. There's 12 months in the year, and I guarantee you people do play games in the summer. People play games in like June, so you can release games in like June or July and stuff like that. Because it seems like we've opened up the like Q1, Q2, early spring, but the July, August stuff's still pretty sparse.
And that's like that. Like last year, it was like Animal Crossing came out, and then 2 weeks later, Final Fantasy VII Remake came out.
Yeah, April 10th, I think, for FF7. April 10th.
Honestly, last year having a very good, quick cadence of game releases got me through the year. Because like right after lockdown started, it was when we got Doom and Animal Crossing on the same day.
Right. Yeah, Doom. There we go.
And then Resident Evil 3 Remake, and then like FF7, like all in a very short span of time. Couple months later was Last of Us. Shortly after that was Ghost of Tsushima.
We've got some like PT vibes going on Finn's camera here. Okay, there's a baby.
It baby. I'm bottle feeding like a champ.
She baby. So Finn is just playing Death Stranding right now.
Finn is protecting BB. He's gonna get all those likes. Yeah, I was circling all the way back to the Breath of the Wild discourse. What I was gonna say is that among all these, like, I bounced between 10 games the last week. I'm trying to find something that sticks, and I also tried to get back into Breath of the Wild. I was one of the 5 people who actually played it on Wii U and beat it there because like I
people.
I was like, I have a Wii U. Like, why would I go and buy this like $400 Switch when I could just play it on my Wii U? And it was fine. And I
Jeff,
beat
you're
it.
the only person I know that actually played it on Wii U.
It was
Like,
fine.
as far as I know, it's a fine version of the game.
It's a fine
but
version of the
no
game.
one played it on that.
And I was like, why
system.
would I go and buy this brand new console when I have a Wii U? And the Wii, I will stand by it. The Wii U Pro controller, aside from being a little light, is a fantastic controller. But yeah, so I've been trying to get back. I played and beat it, and I liked it. And it's the only Zelda game I've ever finished, so it did something right. Like, it's a good game. And I've been trying to get back into it. And it's the same thing as Brittany, where like I play it for a little bit. I'm like, it looks really good. Like, I like the aesthetic. I like the music and stuff like that. But like, I don't know. Maybe it was just the right game at the right time when it came out. But I'm really struggling to get back into it as well. So I don't know. We do need.
No, and I think it was Blaine that said it. I think Beignet, please can't. I think it's the lack of structure. Like,
Yeah.
because I have OCD and like ADHD, so it's really hard for me to like. I'm like, okay, where do I go next? What do I have to do? And then I like spend forever running around, or I die like by falling off a cliff trying to get somewhere, or like the last place I need to go. The last thing I was doing is I did one temple, and I'm still doing the 3 opening temples, right? Like, that's how far I haven't made it in the game. And I'm on the last temple, and I have to go through Icelands, and I can't get through. I keep dying, and I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna turn this off. Like, I don't know what
like
to do.
for me, like the puzzle structure was an issue because like I love like the Zelda Metroid kind of, oh, you found this thing, but okay, I definitely don't have the item I need to solve this puzzle or to get through this area. I will make a mental note and come back here. And the way Breath of the Wild is set up is like you can get anywhere, anytime. So like it doesn't have the satisfaction of you get something new and then you can move on kind of thing. And it doesn't have that like aha moment when you solve a puzzle because you can do it in so many ways.
Right.
And like I see like people doing these really cool videos of ridiculous, you know, ways of solving puzzles or handling combat situations. Like, that's really cool, but my brain doesn't work like that.
Right.
And like and it just doesn't feel like what I expect from the series.
I think that's what it comes down to is like I'm never gonna call it like a bad game. I think it's just a very different Zelda game, and I'm not surprised that it's like split people so much, because what you said, Justin, is exactly the reason I was able to beat it. I've played Ocarina of Time like for 10 hours on my 3DS, but I always get to this point in Zelda games. It happened to me with the whatever the remaster or the remake was for the Switch, Link's Awakening. I get to a point where it's like you need a specific thing to progress, and I don't know what that is or where to get it, and I quit. And Breath of the Wild was like, even though it feels like I'm kind of cheesing or like cheating, like I'm like, I don't really know if I'm supposed to be able to do this, but like I'm able to get past those humps, and I don't need to find.
Fucking do it anyway.
I don't need to find the one magic item, but I like completely understand the other side of that. So that's where it's like, I don't know. I could see, it's kind of like how I feel about Pokemon. Like, I'd like to see more Breath of the Wild style Zelda games because I think they're really cool and inventive and they do something really different. But like, I hope we get that more traditional Zelda game as well, because obviously people love those so much.
Yeah. Like, I like, honestly, I don't have an issue with it as long as they keep making new games that are kind of like the older style Zelda games. Like, I don't even care if they're like a smaller budget thing. Like, if they do like more like top-down 2D style ones or something, and then the big 3D ones are like Breath of the Wild style. Like, I think they just need to balance it between the two fan bases. Like, that's the only thing. The only thing that's a bummer is if they're just like, okay, we're not going to do this style of game anymore.
Yeah.
And like that's what would bum me out. But you know what? You mentioned Pokemon, and here's a thing I kind of wanted to talk about for a while about Pokemon, because I think it's kind of an interesting thing, and I want to know if anybody else is kind of in the same boat. Is like, I'm really not a huge fan of the main Pokemon games anymore, but I really like Pokemon as an IP. Like, I love the character design, I love that world, but like the main kind of games are not my thing anymore. But I'm really excited about a lot of these like spin-offs that are coming out. Like we're getting another Pokemon Snap. I'm so excited about that. Like, I really like the idea of kind of doing some more of these like spin-off things using Pokemon. Like I played Pokemon puzzle stuff on my phone, Pokemon Shuffle. Like I really like a lot of these spin-off things that take place in the universe. And I'm really hoping we get some more stuff like that, because it gives me a way to, you know, still kind of play in the series and like learn the character names and stuff. Because
so I want let me ask you this:
go ahead.
What would it take you to get back into a Pokemon game? Like, what do you want out of a mainstream Pokemon game that you don't feel like you're getting, or what's draining on you?
I honestly don't really know. I think it's just a style that doesn't click with me anymore. I'm going to give the new big open world one a shot. I think that'll be interesting. I don't know if that's what I'm looking for. Like, I'm not saying that they're bad. They're not really for me anymore.
Which is fair. I didn't play for like a few years.
I mean, they also just do that kind of like Nintendo thing where they over-explain everything, and like story moments are just a bunch of really boring, lame text sequences
to restore your health.
Yeah, like that sort of thing. That sort of stuff really grates on me these days. Because I'm so used to games. That's always
the argument about Pokemon, right? Is like, what audience is it catering to? Kids or the already established fan base? Like,
yeah.
It seems like it wants to have it both ways. Like, yes, it's
right.
obviously a kids-friendly IP, but like, also they fucking know that at least half their players grew up on Red, Blue, Yellow. Like, they know that.
And they have stuff like the shiny hunting and like IVs and stuff, the high tier players. I think I just hit that awkward middle ground where obviously I'm not like a little kid anymore. So the like basic stuff gets annoying to me. But like I also don't care about like shiny hunting and like getting perfect IV teams and stuff. So it just hits this awkward middle ground where like I'm just not either of the target audiences.
I think you hit the nail on the head though. Like, people love Pokemon, but I don't think like people really love the structure of Pokemon games. They just like Pokemon in general. And that's why I think you're right. Like, there's like a million different kind of games you can do, and that's why I love that they're bringing back Pokemon Snap, because people don't love like the particular style of battle in the Pokemon games, or like, I mean, yes, obviously they like some of those elements of the like the hardcore mainline series, but in general they just like being in that world and like seeing cute little creatures and collecting them.
It's nostalgia. Like that's what it is. Like playing old Pokemon games just like releases this this ancient serotonin that you got from like when you played Red, Blue, and Yellow, you know, like. And I'm not saying the games aren't enjoyable now. Like, I really enjoyed, like, for me, I liked shopping for clothes for my character, or doing hair, or like designing the cards. Like, that stuff is fun, but it's like it doesn't add to the story or the game, right? It's just nice little tidbits in there. So it's like you're still getting that nostalgia, but those little tidbits like make it feel like it's new and different, when it's really like you got new Pokemon. That's it. That's it. That's really all that's new about it.
Yeah, I
think I'd really like to see like an adventure game where you play like as a Pokemon kind of thing, like not as a trainer collecting
stuff. Trying to escape Pokeballs.
Oh, if you want to go that way, sure.
But we're not going down that road. Why am I in this fighting ring?
No, I mean, I think there's some really cool stuff that they could do with the franchise, and I'm curious to see how it branches out, because like I said, I'm super excited for another Snap. I've been wanting another Snap since the first one came out.
That's one thing I found I've loved about games lately, is taking pictures. Like,
oh my god, I have so much fun.
To Final Fantasy VII, I'm super fucking excited that they have a portrait mode. I'm gonna spend like 10 to 20 hours alone just taking pictures of like Tifa and Tifa.
Yeah, that's fair.
I played around with the photo mode a lot on my replay of God of War, especially like posing, like especially late game when you've got like tons of effects and stuff everywhere, like posing some really cool combat shots.
And like the upgraded graphics, right? Like you want to take that picture and be like, oh, this looks good on my screen. Like this is this isn't somebody else's. This is mine.
Photo mode and sharing were like two of the best things to come out of the last gen. they're not just like I think they're great in so many ways, but like they're an extra dimension to games that takes it beyond like just the simple, like the pure mechanical aspects of video games, but also I think they just are so good. We like tend to take games for granted. Like these developers work for 5 years to create this amazing world, and we kind of just blow through it in 2 days. And we're like, yeah, that was cool. But photo mode and screenshots and stuff like that, it's like you zoom in.
It makes you appreciate your surroundings.
You can appreciate the trees and like the texture on these weapons and like the armor and stuff like that. And I love seeing the developers reciprocate that and like share these and celebrate them and stuff like that. And I think it's awesome. I love it so much.
Spider-Man on the PS4, now PS5, was a perfect example of that. Like, I would just be fucking spinning around doing, webbing around doing my thing, and then there'd be a sunset, and I'm like, ooh, like let me fucking pose, like let me get next to this, like it, and I would spend like 15-20 minutes trying to get the right photo, and then the whole time I'm like, wow, look at my reflection in the windows, or like look how detailed this is. It's just it's crazy how amazing like being able to snapshot just like opens your eyes, like you said, to your surroundings, and like you're like, wow, they worked really fucking hard on this. Like,
I mean, there was a while where it felt like people were kind of starting to, kind of look down on and insult people that really appreciated like the visual detail and stuff in games. Like, it's like, oh, you only care about graphics, not the game. But like, I think photo modes have kind of re-emphasized that, hey, games are a visual medium, and people really like appreciating some of these small little details, and it lets, like Jeff said, like I was playing Spider-Man, okay? I zoomed in on a rocket that was coming at Spider-Man, and it has like a message about how it's like an anti-spider rocket written on it. You'd never see that if you weren't like
that's crazy.
If you weren't zooming in on this little tiny thing like in photo mode. Like I don't know, it's just something that like I really appreciate the work that goes into building these worlds and stuff, and it just kind of adds like a nice way to kind of share the artistry. I love that stuff.
I just want to say, Finn appears to be back. Finn, we missed you, buddy.
What's up?
How's Anna doing?
Thank you. I ended up having to make her another bottle, and I fed her, and it thinks she's asleep. So let's talk some video games.
You got two options. You can weigh in on your favorite photo modes if you like taking
Ghost of Tsushima.
Ghost of Tsushima. That's
that was a
game.
good one.
Oh goddamn! Why don't you tell us about Ghost of Tsushima?
It's the premier. It's the gold standard of photo modes, I would say, right now.
Sucker Punch was the first one to do a photo mode, right? With
I think
Infamous Second Son.
I think so. Don't quote me on that, but I'm not sure. But what they did with Ghost of Tsushima, allowing you to turn each of your screenshots into like a little movie poster for a samurai film, and just all of the different filters and animations and backgrounds and frames you could do, and just and it all seems so user friendly. I'm usually really bad at it, but damn, I've made some good looking photos. So Ghost of Tsushima, that's my answer. Final answer.
Good pick. Yeah, I didn't finish the game, but that is like one of the most gorgeous games I've ever played. The art direction and the colors, stuff 100%. Like that is just phenomenal.
Can we just point out that John just is very bad at picking up on puns?
Did you mean coffee?
Yes.
Okay,
he said he needed to see some fucking coffee, and I said, okay, looks like John wants to see some beans grind because you grind coffee beans. But when you have to explain the joke, it's just sad, John.
The good thing is we caught it and we called him out on it. Like that's the silver lining to this whole situation.
It's true.
While
He's
we're
the
on
only
Ghost
one
of
that didn't get it.
Go ahead, Justin.
Oh, Ghost of Tsushima.
While we're on Ghost of Tsushima, they did announce that they're doing a movie adaptation today. Why are people talking about Fall Guys?
Because John's bad at this.
Okay, whatever. So Ghost of Tsushima is getting a movie adaptation from the director of John Wick.
Getting a movie adaptation. I don't mean to be cynical, but like I believe these things when they're actually. I don't even believe them when they're filming. I believe them when they're out. I still don't believe the Uncharted movie's real.
Oh, the Uncharted movie's not happening. I don't believe that one.
It's completed filming, but it's not happening.
So Justin, I've never heard you being so like definitive about anything in my life. You're just like, not fucking happening next.
Tom Holland posted a photo.
Brit,
It's
have you-
done shooting.
Brit,
It's not happening.
This thing has been in development hell for like 7 or 8 years.
Really?
It's gone through 5 directors.
Even though they posted that fucking Tom
Yeah.
Holland picture.
Yeah, whatever. I'm sorry, I can't get past Mark Wahlberg as Sully. Like that's the
It's
dumbest.
awful.
Oh,
It's
God.
just awful. I
Like-
don't. Yeah,
Like honestly, Tom Holland could work as young Drake.
I like Tom Holland.
Mark Wahlberg is okay. Never mind. Anyway, but yeah, so they did announce that today, so we'll see how that goes. I like how people are like, I wonder who will play Jin. It's like, how about the actual established actor that played Jin in the game?
Yeah.
Well, and that's another interesting thing is it's like all these voice actors who until we had Sissy on the show, they're little peeved that they don't get to be the
Mhm.
real
Yeah.
life portrayal of the characters. And I'm like, you know what? That's fair. Like
And
I
what-
never
Oh, yeah.
thought about that.
And what's crazy is that because the motion capture is so good, it's essentially
Mhm.
those actors anyway. So
Yeah, Ghost of
it doesn't
Tsushima is
make any
just-
Yeah.
sense not to. But and
Like some
the
other
reality of the
games-
situation is,
Yeah.
Hollywood won't attach to a project unless there's a big name to like sell it off of. So we won't get those actors because
Bullshit.
they're gonna want to have like The Rock as Jin. Or something.
It's like they've already decided these are what your movie actors are, these are TV actors, and these are voice actors. And it's very hard for people to cross those boundaries, and it fucking sucks because
Mr. Delaby in chat saying that Scarlett Johansson will play Jin.
we cannot confirm nor deny that, but it is possible. We can't say for sure. We do have a little bit of video game news before we get into our last topics. Finn, I don't know if you want to lead us off. So I don't know when this was announced, but Sony's got a new studio spinning up. Do you want to break this down for us?
I will start to, and then someone else can jump in. So, Jade Raymond, who I'm gonna be honest, is a name we all recognize, but not sure what she's done since the Assassin's Creed franchise.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Splinter Cell Blacklist was the last game that she.
yeah,
worked
she
on that
bounced.
show.
She was
long
big
time
at,
ago.
at Ubisoft, and then has bounced around from like studio to studio that ended up not doing anything. And her latest endeavor was
Google.
Stadia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No. So, but here's why I'm actually I find this promising is because this is a very familiar scenario for PlayStation fans because Kojima basically had the same treatment
Mm-hmm.
where poached him from a defunct company and then built a studio up around them and said, okay, the first game, they're not technically first or second party studios, but they're funding their first endeavor. And so it ends up being a PlayStation exclusive, most likely PC as well. But it's an interesting model, and I think it works really well because I'm gonna be honest, I don't think anyone expected Death Stranding to be the game that came out before Ghost of Tsushima and Last of Us 2.
Yeah,
We were all joking that it was going to end up being a PS5 game, and then they surprised us, and it's like the turnaround from the studio to launch of the game was shorter than most major graphically intensive AAA titles.
Yep.
And if that's what happens when Sony's like funding that kind of endeavor, then maybe we'll actually see Jade Raymond launch a game within our lifespan again. And that's exciting because when she does work on games, they're all pretty good. So I'm down for this. And Sony must see something in this to do this endeavor. Like they're not just throwing studios together for anybody.
The thing that's kind of always bizarre about, well, not bizarre, but like the thing that stood out is like Google and Amazon were really amassing a lot of talent at these studios and then just wasted all of it. And like this is a lot of the same team that was at, with Jade Raymond at Google in Montreal. And Sony also doesn't have any studios in Montreal or Canada, and there's like several huge game development hubs within Canada. So like this is also kind of Sony getting their foot in the door and picking up some talent and nurturing it. And I'm interested to see where it goes. They said they're working on a new IP. So
I
cool.
I think I think these
I
kind of
I don't
ahead,
think
Justin.
it's ever a bad idea for platform holders to be investing in new studios and new IPs. So
I was gonna say
I'm excited to see where it goes.
I love it. Like it, they have the backing of PlayStation, so I think they've got like a good, without we aren't privy to the financial details and stuff like that, but I think it's safe to say they probably have some security. They probably have some good resources and support behind them. But I think this and like stuff like the Kojima Productions deal are great, where it's like both parties kind of win really big. Like PlayStation, the initial project is PlayStation exclusive, and they help them build up their studio and get their feet wet and stuff like that, and build their game. Presumably, once the game is like ready to be talked about, they're going to promote it at whatever E3 equivalents and stuff like that are in the future. But it's good publicity. It's good to be attached to like a big platform holder. It's a good way for the studio to establish their presence and get that like first game out the door. But then assuming it's like Kojima Productions, like I don't think they're going to be locked to PlayStation. They kind of have a little bit more independence. It seems to be a hands-off approach, and I think it's good for everybody. I think PlayStation's proven that like, they'll support you and give you the tools you need, but at the same time, they're going to let these new studios basically make their own game, because who the fuck would let Kojima make Death Stranding? That's a weird-ass game.
The other thing I think that's cool about this deal too is like, I mean, it makes sense even for Sony too, because it's not as much investment as like purchasing a studio or like building one up from scratch. This is a team that they know can make a game. It's just Google didn't really let them. Like this isn't but it sets up like a lasting business relationship too. That's a pretty safe one too. Like it makes sense for everybody involved. I'm still interested. I'm just very interested to see where it goes.
What are we talking about?
Yeah, you were away. We were just talking about Jade Raymond's new studio for PlayStation. They're working on what is it? Is it called Haven? Sorry, I don't think we actually said the name.
Haven's the name of the studio.
Yeah. So we don't know anything beyond the fact
we don't know anything about the game.
Yeah, they're developing a new game. It's a new studio. I don't think we know the size of the studio, of the employees and stuff like that, but their first game will be exclusive for PlayStation, and then we assume, beyond that, it'll be similar to the Kojima situation. So that's that.
Exclusivity sucks.
I mean, they'll probably allow a PC version. Sony's been pretty good about allowing PC versions, at least after launch. They're even porting their own games to PC.
I'm so over just the console wars at this point that I'm just like, fucking release it on everything. Let everybody do crossplay. Like, just fucking get it over with. Like, we're trending that direction. Just fucking do it.
Well, I mean, we're about to get our first PlayStation Studios game released on Xbox.
Is that
in
MLB?
The next few weeks? Yeah, MLB The Show.
Yeah.
Is the first
Final Fantasy VII come out for Xbox?
They never announced if it ever will. Like,
it's still
there's no clarity on if it will. We know it'll eventually come to PC. There's no idea.
Yeah, we don't know if that
FF7
exclusivity deal just
Xbox.
means PC. They never once stated other consoles. It's just people's assumption because of like Kingdom Hearts and other major Square games. But we have no knowledge on it because Square, mostly as a company, if they have an exclusivity deal, they won't even breathe a hint of it appearing anywhere else until like that deal is done. Right. So people will make assumptions, but we have zero confirmation or idea.
Which, by the way,
never mind. It's coming to Xbox. John said it's not,
yeah,
so
John
it's a
said
lock.
it's not, so it is.
Funny thing about Square Enix and exclusivity, like Xbox just got a port of Octopath Traveler that just dropped on Game Pass, and Square Enix did not announce this until it dropped. Xbox announced that it was coming. Square Enix was just like, yeah, it's coming when asked about it. And then they put out a tweet saying it was coming, like right when it got posted. This was not officially announced or like anything by Square Enix, really. It's bizarre.
Square.
It makes me wonder, do you think like Square has a bad relationship with Xbox, or like
No,
they just have a very good relationship with Sony.
Yeah, because you have to understand, like, their Western titles tend to lean Xbox, like the Tomb Raider franchise, anything Crystal Dynamics, the IO software, like their Deus Ex, all that stuff was like had the Microsoft side, and then they let their Japanese games have the PlayStation like attachment to it.
Yeah.
So it's
Particularly
just
Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly. Like Final Fantasy has been put on Game Pass, but I can't think of the last time a major Japanese game outside of Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy 15 that had a simultaneous Xbox launch.
Well,
Mhm.
I was just curious about it because there's always been rumors that Final Fantasy 14 is going to come to Xbox, and it's like they're not saying no, but they're not saying yes. It's always like
Right.
we'll see. So I'm like,
Yeah.
is there a
that-
reason why it's like this, or
The FF14 situation is weird because initially they said it was going to be crossplay was the issue there. Now that's not an issue, but now they're just like, oh, there's other things we need to work from. Like it's really weird. I don't know what the deal with FF14 is.
Like I'm confident FF14 will hit Xbox. It might even time it with the new expansion coming out. I don't know.
They officially
Like-
announced it at XO 2019, and from the only thing I've heard since then is that I think basically Xbox is waiting for the 14 team to implement DirectX 12 technology, because I guess that will make it run better on Xbox or easier to port or something like that. So it sounds like Xbox is ready to go, but and they're working closely with them, I think. But
yeah, but they fucking are. You know how many more people would sub
yep.
to like Xbox Live and Xbox Games Pass if like imagine if 14 was on Games Pass.
That'd be big.
Well, they'd never do that because you'd have to. Well, they might just to get the initial
you get the
barrier out,
game
and then
free,
you
You
sub.
just have to pay for the subscription. Yeah.
But like their biggest Japanese titles that we know of so far: 7 Remake, the PS5 version, Forspoken, and FF16, and Near Replicant. None of those have Xbox even like planned at the moment, or any
Which
that
is
we
why-
know of. So
Which is why the Octopath thing is so wild, right? Like, as far as we know, there's no PlayStation version of that game coming. I mean, I'm
that's
sure
a
there
weird
will
one.
be eventually.
that's
Like,
an enigma.
But this is the only time that's happened with a Square Enix release. But also Square Enix didn't want to talk about it. Like, it's just super bizarre to me for a whole lot of reasons. Like, I want the story behind
well, that just strikes me as a really big behind the scenes like get for Game Pass.
Yeah.
Like they approached them
absolutely.
and we're like, okay, give us a X amount of weeks, months, years over PlayStation, put it on Game Pass, and we'll give you all this money.
Yeah.
And Square's like, I bet.
No, but I just thought it was funny that they wouldn't be like, hey, yeah, we're doing this. There was just like one tweet, like when it went up, it's like, oh, you can get Octopath Traveler on Game Pass now, and that's it.
Square, I don't know. Square gonna square is all I got. For
Square's a weird company.
Yeah.
Especially in regards to announcements.
We got 20 minutes left in the podcast. We have a few good questions on Twitter. Yeah, we do have 20 minutes.
Yeah. Let's do questions.
Let's do some questions.
And then should we have chat ask some too?
I want to ask the question. I've got the question.
Okay.
All right.
Daddy has
So-
the mic.
Yeah. Ultimate Daddy.
Do you have
Based on my lunch. Okay. I'm scrolling to the questions. Here we go. What is your from Master Gloop? What is your favorite game that was absolutely ravaged by reviews? Like, what game did you love that critically just shit the bed? And I've got an easy answer, because this game, it's still a controversy with the score IGN gave it, and it's the PS2 beat 'em up God Hand that
That's a good one.
God Hand.
that IGN gave a 3-2.
Oh my god, it's God Hand is so
God
good.
Hand. I loved God Hand, and it got just savage. Blaine over here saying God Hand doesn't count. Fuck you, it's the poster child. So yeah, God Hand is an easy one. I guess for me, any anime-based fighting or action game, like they
Easily
always get
They're some of
savaged.
the best, yeah.
So
I'll go next. Are you done?
Go ahead.
Oop,
Baby
hold on.
moving? Okay. So mine, and you've heard me complain about this numerous times, Mass Effect Andromeda gets way too much shit than it deserves. It's not
a
a
good
bad
game. It's not
It's not-
great, but it's good.
I don't even think like I think people just wanted Mass Effect, right? I think they wanted
Oh,
another Mass
no.
Effect. What?
No, so I'm playing like this like 10-hour womb sounds to like lull as a lullaby to like lull her to sleep, and a YouTube ad just played, and I was just hearing this blasting
Oh
like,
no!
What's up,
I was like,
idiots? This is PewDiePie.
yeah. So
Did you
okay.
know the human body contains up to 25 pounds of toxic poop?
Yeah.
That's literally an ad I get on YouTube every couple
YouTube
of days.
A hellscape. I'm sorry, Finn.
Like, no, I might actually pay for YouTube Red just for this brief couple months where she needs to like sleep. Anyway, what were some other answers I missed?
I was talking about Andromeda. I think that gets way too much.
Oh yeah, that guy did not deserve all the hate.
We could have had fucking Quarian DLC. We could have had so much DLC that I think would have just added to the game. Like, and I don't know. I don't think it was a bad game. I think it got really harsh critical reviews.
Especially because how do you end the game telling us about the Geth ship and then never follow up on that? Not Geth, Quarian. Sorry, the Quarian arc.
Right.
Right. So I have another question.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh wait, Justin needs to go. Go ahead, Justin.
My bad. I thought Justin had gone.
No, it's only been you two.
I don't know. I left.
Okay, you asked the question.
You could have just been like, "Yo, my answer's this." Out. I don't know.
All right. So mine's probably not too surprising, but there's this Godzilla PS4 game that is it's garbage.
So on brand for you, Justin.
Trust me. This game has like a 36 on Metacritic, and it deserves it. But if you like the series, it's really fun. Like the way it plays is ridiculous. Like I'm gonna do a stream of this game at some point, and I'm just gonna go through some kaiju facts. But like you play. It feels like you're steering like a remote control version of these things as they walk around sets. Like when you break the buildings, it has like the little flashes, like the old style, like pyrotechnics that they used on the model buildings and stuff. Like there's so much like attention to detail that is awesome for fans of the series that really grew up with the old Japanese movies. When they ported it to PS4, like it originally was a PS3 game. And it looks like a PS2 game. I need to make that clear to people. Like, it's shocking how bad this game looks. Originally, there was just like 3 different Godzilla variants. But when they ported it to PS4, they made a ton of kaiju playable that you can unlock. And when I was working 2 jobs, I was like exhausted after working like 12 plus hours a day. And I would just go home and I'd do like one run through and unlock one of them. And I got all of them eventually. Like, it's super fun to play as somebody that's a big fan of those. If you are not like a big fan of those old movies, do not touch that game. Jeff, do you have one?
Yeah, I'll go next. I don't love this game, but I think it is better than reviews would have you indicate. I liked The Order 1886. I won't defend that it has problems. That's fine, but I played this game and like I thought the world was really cool. I thought visually it was a spectacle. I understand people were like frustrated with like, you know, is it a movie? Is it a game? They use the word filmic or whatever. But like the gameplay bits that were there, I thought were pretty good. I haven't played through it. I've played through it twice, both times pretty close to launch. So I won't say if it holds up in 2021. Maybe it doesn't, but I think I'm looking at my phone. It's got a 63 on Metacritic. It's like a solid 7.5 out of 10 to me. Like, I've played way worse games that have way better scores. I think the game had a solid identity. I think it knew that it wanted to be a little bit of a movie, a little bit of a game, and a lot of games seem to have an identity crisis. And, you know, so whatever. Like, it's not going to be for everyone, but I think it accomplished what it set out to do, and I think it did it pretty well. And I don't know. I had a really good time with it, and I'm really crushed that we'll never get a sequel to it. So that's my pick.
All right, next question.
All right. This next question comes from somebody named Blaine. I don't know. It doesn't ring a bell. So what's a game you love that you'd recommend to people, but was either delisted or is otherwise extremely hard or impossible to obtain? And you know what? Just a couple months ago, my answer still would have been Scott Pilgrim, the beat 'em up. And just a year ago, I would have said Westwood's Blade Runner, both of which became impossible. Yeah, both of them for years, a decade plus for both, had been impossible to play. And then suddenly, within the last year, they're like, hey, surprise, they're both available.
Mm-hmm.
So those are mine. Blade Runner, Scott Pilgrim. Even though they're not available.
I'll go next. My pick is Konami Games. Just Konami Games in general. Whether it be Silent Hill 1, 2, 3, 4.
If John were here, he'd say PT.
PT, Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, 3, 4. Like obviously you can play them. They are out there. They're not available on modern platforms. They're really hard to find. They're really hard to buy. Like the original Silent Hill, you have a PS1 classic that you could play on like PS3 or PS TV, but like, they're just, Konami has a great catalog of games, and they're extremely inaccessible if like all you have is a PS5 or an Xbox Series X or something like that, and it kind of sucks. So I don't know. That would be my pick, is Konami Games.
You know what? Chat Sunlight Scrub said the Transformers Cybertron games, and hell yeah.
Yeah, I was on a big Transformers kick a few months ago. I was watching, there's like a new kind of animated show on Netflix, and it's really good. And I was like really into Transformers movie, and I was like, I'm gonna play War for Cybertron. You just straight up can't buy it. And I think it was one of those. Was it Activision?
Yes.
Yeah, it was like the Spider-Man games, like Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions or whatever. Like there's just, Activision games are one of the worst for this. They just straight up die and they disappear and you can't buy them again. It sucks.
Well, wasn't even the recent Platinum like Transformers game?
Yep,
Transformers Devastation.
That's gone.
They
yeah.
did Avatar or
that's
Legend of Korra game, I think. I don't think
their
that
Deadpool game has been delisted. Like they do not get these licenses for very long.
Sucks.
That's why I buy physical.
Preach.
Also, John, in a rare move, has two good answers with Final Fantasy Tactics and Tactics Ogre Let Us Cling Together. Both very solid choices. I'm proud of you, Game Dad. Golf clap.
I don't have any explanation for mine. Mine is just Power Stone 1 and 2. I love those games. They were in the... What leak was that? Was that the
Capcom leak.
The Capcom leak that we were talking about earlier? Yeah.
Yeah, the big Capcom leak.
I fucking miss Power Stone. That would be the best multiplayer online game to play right now. It would be so fun. And that's it. That's mine. Justin?
Yeah.
You guys covered a lot of them. I guess I gotta say PT also. Mm-hmm. Like, the thing that really pisses me off...
Yeah, they don't make the cruisers anymore.
The thing that really pisses me off about PT is that it originally was... Like, people that had early PS5s... confirmed that if you transferred it over, you could play it until an update that locked it to make it not playable on PS5.
That's such bullshit. Like
Konami literally told Sony they were not allowed to let people play PT on PS5.
This isn't. I don't know if this is
the pettiest shit I've ever heard of.
I don't know if this is gonna be a question for anyone else. It's not really a question, but I just have to give a shout out to McAllen Guy on Twitter. I don't know if this, I'm pretty sure he doesn't know how much I love simulation games, but he asked if there's a Panamax container ship simulator with the Suez Canal level.
The Suez Canal block.
Yeah. Funniest... This story is fucking bonkers, how it's just like disrupting the entire global trade industry. And I would play the shit out of a container ship simulator. Oh, that is fantastic. Finn, did you want to pick one more question? Was there anything else there?
Those were the big questions I saw when I was going through. Bronson had a question that said, "Who do you think you are?" And the answer is cooler than you. So, Yosemite.
You can't ask a question and answer it yourself.
Sure.
Come on.
So, Yosemite Blam had a quick question. John's not here, so I'll answer it for him. Now that Octopath Traveler is on Game Pass, why should everyone cosplay it or play it? And the answer is so we can finally get a Final Fantasy VI remake done in that style. Do your job for the cause, and show Square Enix that we need
That
more
might
games in
actually
that
make
art
it a
style.
good game, so I'm down with that.
I don't know. I really don't. I think the ship has sailed on Final Fantasy VI.
Thank you.
The airship. It's called the Falcon.
Ooh. We have one more from.
John's so mad he's not here right now. He's so mad.
John's just fuming.
He's just in his car.
He's just in his car screaming right now.
We have one more. I guess we can finish on this one from our. I think most of us know Seth. The Seth Rokage on Twitter. He's active in our community Discord as well.
It's Seth Rokage.
Is it anything about peanut butter and jelly? Because I don't want to
Rokage.
fucking
Sorry.
talk about it.
Yes,
if it is.
it's like Hokage, but Rokage.
I am not cultured enough to be able to pronounce that properly. What is the last game that you played that you were actively ecstatic about? Something that gives you the sensation of pure, unadulterated childhood joy.
Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Fuck. Oh, god damn it. We'll talk about Final Fantasy VII because we can always talk about Final Fantasy VII. Finn, you got
Okay,
your...
so Finn can go.
Finn
first.
can go. Finn's
It's a-
real
Finn and Justin can
psyched
go.
right
and then we
now.
can go.
It is a tie.
I was gonna say Final Fantasy VII Remake also, so Finn can go.
Yes!
Finn can go.
That's cool. And Final Fantasy VII Remake was good. No one's denying this. But my answer in terms of the game that caused the most pure, unadulterated joy is either a tie between Sackboy's Big Adventure
Wait, yeah.
or Astrobots Playroom.
Astrobot. Oh my
That
god.
game
How did I
was
not
just-
think Astrobot
was just a
immediately?
serotonin drip nonstop. Like Saki and I just sat there and played these games together and just gushed with this joy at how wholesome
Finn,
and just delightful. And oh my god, I love
Finn,
it. Yes,
are you still wearing the hospital band?
yes. I
That's
refuse
the
to take it off.
cutest fucking shit I've ever seen in my life.
I've kept it on for
That's
3 weeks now.
Adorable.
Please make sure you
Cinnamon
wash
baby.
it or something like
505.
that.
Yeah, that's why it's starting to get faded. But
Okay. Just making sure.
Cinnamon Baby
kept all my
505
bands.
C191.
Band and I kept my band.
That's
So
cute.
yeah.
Anyway,
I won't take it
Seven
off.
Remake.
Britt, why don't
Yeah,
you tell us
so-
about Final Fantasy VII Remake?
So, I don't know what to say about it that I haven't already gushed about before. The music, I would say, is the biggest nostalgia trip because not only do they like remake it, but they remake it in a way that's slightly different, and it still hits that nostalgia. Like my biggest one I can fucking think of is the fucking Don Corneo's
Yep.
theme when you're
Or
in the
even-
tunnel.
Or
No,
even the train graveyard.
Yes. Oh my god, yes. When they're about to bomb the they're about to bring down the plate and it's like oh god, yes. Like that was a moment where I was like fucking hyped and I was like, I gotta get through these goddamn trains. Like I gotta go save it, you know? Like the music is just the biggest wave of nostalgia. Like I love Final Fantasy VII music. I love Final Fantasy music. So the music was the big thing, and of course, like the characters. Like each time the characters spoke, like I could see their character from the original game. Like the characterization was just perfect.
It's so hard to take like those characters that had no voices before and
Exactly.
expand on them, especially with characters like Jesse and stuff like that. And like it would be so easy to like not stay true to the spirit of them, but I think they nailed every single one of them and just like improved on them and expanded them and made them
Like
better.
my first one, I was like, man, they really nailed Barrett, and then I was like, well, Cloud's really good too. Tifa's voice, each character I came into, I was just like, the only one I was apprehensive about was Eris, and I'm calling her. I know it's Aerith, but I like calling her Eris.
I back you up. It's Eris.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I was a little apprehensive, and then she just fucking grew on me, and I loved her. So
Yeah, I remember I was really nervous about how Cloud would be handled because they made him so much more like just like moody and stoic instead of just this kind of awkward guy putting on airs like for everybody. But they really nailed him in the remake. But I've said this plenty of times before, but like the fact that this game was so focused on Midgar, and like this place that has been like deep in my imagination since I was a little kid was now finally like fleshed out and explorable, and I could exist in it for a while.
I can't wait to see those textures, man. Like,
well,
show me
I
that
can't wait.
door.
Give me the door. Yeah. Like it was just really cool to see it more fully realized, and I never thought that they could actually do a successful Final Fantasy VII remake. I was very skeptical of them splitting it into parts. It completely surpassed my expectations. I did not expect them to pull that game off the way that they did.
And that's the thing. It's like not only does it hit that nostalgia, it's also just a good game on its own. Like, you know how many people didn't play Final Fantasy that played that game and they fucking loved it? Like, it's a good intro game to the series.
Well, I'll go last. I just want to point out we once again did not make it through an episode without mentioning Final Fantasy. I think we already mentioned it like 6 times during the show.
Yeah, because it's great.
That's never, as long as I'm on the show, that's
Fantasy
never like never. It's either gonna be me or John just fucking breaking.
Oh, bring it up. Also, shout out to Project Triangle Strategy.
Yes, shout out indeed to that game that is named that title, which is ridiculous. I'll go last. This isn't what I was going to pick, but chat's talking about Astrobot. And you know what? I unfortunately had to give up my PSVR when the original Astrobot came out for it. I got glasses and it didn't work with it. So I wasn't able to like share in the gushing over Astrobot, the revelation that is Astrobot. But there was an Astrobot game that launched with the PlayStation 5, which is like a strict 3D platformer. I'll be honest, it took a little bit to click with me. I played it for like 20 minutes and kind of didn't come back to it for a couple weeks. I was like, it's good. But you want to talk about like that childhood joy, like that really nostalgia. The game itself is great. The music is fun and whimsical. The mechanics are really good. It controls like a dream. It's gorgeous. But I don't know, like I have no emotional attachment to companies. I have no emotional attachment to Sony. I don't give a shit. You make boxes, I play games. But like the way our brains work is like visual messaging is really powerful, and specific moments especially in our youth and like formative years in our life are really important. And I'm sorry, but like that PlayStation 1 box, that little gray box with the lid that pops up, the memory cards, those corded controllers, that DualShock, I have very fond memories of growing up with those, playing them at like 1 a.m, Final Fantasy VII, when my mom was on a cruise and I was like allowed to stay up past my bedtime. And like Astrobot is at once both a great 3D platform on its own, but a huge celebration of like PlayStation and gaming history. And I'm not a completionist in games. I will like just mainline shit and go through it. I was obsessed with collecting every little artifact, like the multi-tap for the PS2 or the Ethernet adapter, like just all these little things that I was like, fuck yeah, I had that. It's so cool.
There was stuff I hadn't even seen before, like some of the PSP attachments. There was like
the
PSP
a radio
shit
tuner
or something.
Yeah,
like there was definitely some stuff I had never seen before, and it was super fun, and it was all like so well recreated, like. Mm-hmm. And man, the ways the PSP GPS, somebody in chat just mentioned it. That was the one that I'm like, I didn't even know this existed. But like, and then also all the little touches, like when you walk across a rope, it's like a PS1 controller cord. Mm-hmm. Even the raindrops where they hit on a surface is in the shape of the PlayStation symbols. Like, it's just, they crammed in everything that they could into that game, like with the references, on top of just making a really fun platformer that makes really great use of the DualSense as a controller, and was just a really, really awesome pack-in game.
Mm-hmm. Well, we are 2 minutes over time, which is fine.
Well, we had a few minutes of downtime. So
we had a lot of downtime. Once again, we apologize for the technical difficulties. If you've been around for a little bit, you should be used to it by now. So you know what? Fuck it. Like Brittany said, it's
the Final Fantasy takes and
it's all on brand for us. That is gonna do it for tonight. We have some very cool guests coming up. I don't know the dates off the top of my head, so I will not commit to them. I will say stay tuned to our official Twitter account. We'll definitely be announcing that. We have a couple popular streamers coming on, Pikachu Lita, as well as I think Bloody Faster TV are both scheduled for the coming weeks. We'll always have more guests in the works. Thank you, everyone, again for showing up tonight and suffering through the struggles of streaming live. We will catch you all next time, and until then, kindness. Wow, I did get a little buzzed off this bourbon. Kindness costs nothing.
Costs
Just
nothing.
before
nothing.
we exit, I just
Yes.
want to say that I joked about getting drunk, and I was like, "No, I'm not getting drunk." And Jeff was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Drunk Jeff and Brittany run the show. They're the best." And I was like, and Justin was like, "Oh, I'm gonna drink water," and I was like, "No, I'm not getting drunk. I'm gonna drink coffee." And Jeff was like, "Yeah, I'm not drinking either."
I only had a little bit.
We also got a message. I'm gonna be like 5 minutes late starting the stream. I'm going to the liquor store. So
I promise you, alcohol had nothing to do with the technical problems we encountered. That is entirely on Microsoft's Windows operating system. Until next time, kindness costs nothing. We love you all, and we'll see you next Thursday. Good night.